Hey everyone, ready to take a deep dive into mindfulness for well-being.
Always ready for a deep dive.
Awesome. So we got that Cleveland Clinic article, how to practice mindfulness to improve your well-being, and we're going to break it down
Yeah,
into some practical stuff you can actually use. I get the feeling you're looking to manage stress, maybe boost your overall health.
that's right, all the money.
Well, mindfulness can totally help with that, and by the end of this deep dive,
Mm.
you'll have some real techniques you can start using, like right away.
What I find really fascinating here is
Yeah.
mindfulness. It's not some mystical thing. It's got to be grounded in actual practices,
Right.
stuff you
Yeah.
can do every day that can really make a difference. We're talking hormone levels, rewiring those neural pathways.
Whoa. Now that's getting into some serious stuff. Okay, so
Yep.
where do we even start? I mean, the article talks a lot about meditation,
Uh-huh.
but I always picture, those folks sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop for hours.
Right.
Is that really what we're talking about?
Well, that's a super common image people
Ah,
have, but it doesn't
no.
have to be that intense. Meditation can be way simpler. Even just taking a few minutes each day
Okay.
to focus on your breath.
Yeah.
The article even suggests, start with just 3 breaths, try diaphragmatic breathing.
Wait, 3 breaths? You're kidding, right? I mean,
Yeah.
can that really make a difference?
Seriously, it can. See, when we do diaphragmatic breathing,
Yeah.
we're not just filling our lungs. We're actually engaging our diaphragm, which tells our nervous system to chill out.
Ah, okay.
Think about it, feeling centered and focused, like before a big presentation.
Oh, like the one I mentioned.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's where diaphragmatic breathing comes in.
All right, I'm definitely on board with that benefit. So how
Mhm.
does this diaphragmatic breathing thing actually work?
It's all about tapping into your body's natural relaxation response,
Hmm.
just by using your breath. So put
Yeah.
one hand on your chest, the other one just below your rib cage. Now inhale slowly through your nose.
Okay.
Feel your stomach push against your lower hand. Keep your chest still. Exhale through your mouth. Let your belly fall.
I'm actually trying it right now. It does feel grounding.
Right. And the best part is you could do it anywhere, like
Yeah.
at your desk, stuck in traffic, even in line at the store. It's like a mini vacation for your nerves on demand.
I like the sound of that. Okay, so the article doesn't stop at just meditation, right? It mentions mindful eating, which
Right.
I gotta admit sounds a little, well, weird to me.
I get it. But think about it. How often do you eat lunch at your desk, scrolling through your phone? You barely even taste your food.
Ooh, guilty as charged.
Mindful eating is about bringing awareness to that whole experience.
So it's not about like depriving yourself or obsessing over calories.
No, no, not at all. It's about savoring each bite, really noticing the textures and the smells and the flavors. The article even says, try putting your fork down between bites
Oh,
to help you slow down and actually taste the food. And you know what? It can help you tune into your body's signals,
signals.
like when you're actually hungry or full.
Oh, interesting. But how does that connect to stress and well-being? I'm not seeing the link.
There's a really cool physiological thing happening. When we eat mindfully,
Mm-hmm.
we release hormones like leptin and cholecystokinin.
Wow, those are some big words.
I know, right? But they basically tell your brain, hey, we're full.
So our bodies actually get the message,
Right.
which can help us not overeat. Makes sense.
Totally. But there's also a powerful mental side to it. Mindful eating can help us see those emotional triggers that make us reach for food.
Like when I'm stressed and grab a bag of chips.
Yeah, exactly. It helps you recognize that pattern and maybe choose to do something different.
That's pretty powerful. This is making me rethink my whole relationship with food. Okay, so we've talked meditation, mindful eating.
Mm-hmm.
Where else does the article suggest we bring in mindfulness?
Well, one of the big takeaways is mindfulness isn't just for a few minutes a day. It's a whole way of approaching life. Like even doing the laundry.
Hold on, mindful laundry. I'm not sure I follow. How can I be mindful folding socks?
Think about it. Usually when you're doing laundry, your mind's racing ahead to everything else you got to do.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You're not really present with the task.
That's me, for sure.
But what if you really focused on it? Feeling the fabrics, the colors, even the smell of the detergent.
Hmm. Never thought about it that way.
And you can do this with tons of stuff.
Mm.
Washing dishes, taking a shower, even your commute.
So like turning chores into mindfulness moments.
Exactly. And when you do that,
Mm-hmm.
you're not just reducing stress, you're cultivating gratitude for the simple things.
I love that. It's like mindfulness is a superpower we can tap into anytime, anywhere.
I love that. Because it's true. We all have that capacity. It's just about practicing. And The article even suggests some cool tools like those mindfulness apps.
Oh, yeah, we should definitely talk about those.
Yeah, we'll dig into those in the next part.
Perfect. It's giving me a lot to chew on. Can't wait to hear more.
Same here. Back for more mindfulness.
Oh, yeah, I'm hooked. That mindful laundry thing really got me thinking. But okay, how do we actually, make it a reality?
Right, how do we actually live this way?
Exactly. Because life gets busy, finding time for anything new can feel impossible.
Totally get it. And that's where the cool part about mindfulness comes in. It's not about needing hours of free time. It's about taking those little moments you already have and being intentional.
Oh, I like that.
Remember that body scan we talked about? You could do that while your coffee's brewing in the morning.
True, just a few minutes. And we were going to talk about those mindfulness apps too, right? Those could be good for building a habit.
Definitely. Apps like you had Calm and Headspace in your notes.
Yeah.
Those are great because they give you a guided way to meditate, you know, if you're not sure how to start.
Yeah, like instead of just sitting there wondering if I'm doing it right.
Exactly. Plus, a lot of apps have like personalized programs and trackers, even nature
Oh,
sounds
that's
to
cool.
make it more immersive.
It's like having a mindfulness coach in your pocket. But before we even get to the apps, how do we even develop that basic awareness the article keeps mentioning? Like, where do we start?
Well, one of the simplest things is paying attention to your breath. Talk about diaphragmatic breathing,
Right.
but even just noticing how you're breathing can be really grounding.
So, like, when I'm feeling super stressed, I can just stop and focus on my breath for a minute.
Exactly. It's like hitting pause on all those racing thoughts and just tuning into your body.
But what if my mind won't quiet down? I can't stop thinking about everything I have to do.
That's totally normal. It's not about emptying your mind completely.
Okay.
It's more about noticing your thoughts without judging them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's that thought again.
So instead of getting frustrated when those thoughts pop up, I just like acknowledge them and gently go back to my breath.
You got it. It's like watching clouds go by. They're there. You see them, but you don't try to control them.
That's a great way to put it. It makes it seem less overwhelming.
And as you practice this, you'll start to understand yourself better. You'll notice patterns in how you think, how you feel, how you react to things.
And then once we're aware of those patterns, we can choose how we respond, right?
Exactly. Mindfulness isn't about becoming some emotionless robot. It's
Right.
about becoming more aware of what's going on inside so you can deal with life's ups and downs better. Be more resilient.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to see that. Is there like a risk of overthinking things though? I mean, if I'm always analyzing my thoughts and feelings, will I just end up spiraling?
That's a really good point, and it shows how important balance is. Mindfulness isn't about getting stuck in your head. It's about having a healthier relationship with your thoughts and feelings.
So noticing them without getting totally swept away by them.
Exactly. And that's where practices like meditation can help. They give you a structure for developing that awareness.
Speaking of practices, the article mentions something called a body scan meditation. What's that all about?
It's a great way to connect with your body. Basically, you go through each part of your body, starting with your toes and working your way up.
Like a mental checklist of sensations.
Yeah. You might notice tingling, warmth, pressure, tightness, even just a neutral feeling. The important thing is just to observe without judgment.
I can picture it. Lying down, eyes closed, just feeling my body. Sounds really relaxing.
It can be super relaxing,
Mhm.
but it can also be really eye-opening. We often carry tension without even knowing it. The body scan helps you pinpoint those areas and let go of the tension.
My shoulders and neck are always tight. I can see how this would help.
And you can do it anywhere. You don't need any special equipment or a quiet room.
So even if I'm stressed at work, I could take a minute to do a body scan at my desk.
Exactly. It's a great way to bring yourself back to the present moment. Reconnect with your body.
I love how practical this all is. It's not about escaping reality. It's about finding peace in the middle of everything.
Exactly. Mindfulness isn't some luxury. It's a skill we can all learn to feel better and handle the craziness of life more easily.
I'm really getting it now. But, part of me is still wondering, how sustainable is this, really? Life is so busy. How do we fit these practices into our already packed schedules?
That's a valid question, and that's what we're going to dive into in the next part. We'll talk about specific ways to make mindfulness part of your daily routine, even when you're short on time.
Perfect. I'm ready for it. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
starting to feel less like a chore and more like, an adventure. All right, we're back for the final part of our mindfulness deep dive. I gotta say, I'm seeing my everyday routine in a whole new light.
It's amazing how a simple shift in perspective can do that, isn't it?
Seriously. But like I mentioned before, the big question for me is, how do I actually live this way? Life gets so crazy.
Hmm.
Finding time for anything new can feel impossible.
I totally hear you. And that's where the real power of mindfulness shines. It's not about finding like big chunks of time. It's more about sprinkling those little moments throughout your day with intention. Like remember the body scan.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that while you're waiting for your coffee to brew.
Right. Just a few minutes. And we were going to talk about those apps too, weren't we? Those mindfulness apps.
Definitely. Those could be really helpful, especially when you're starting out. Like you mentioned Calm and Headspace.
Yeah, those were the ones in the article.
Yeah, they give you guided meditations, which can be great if you're not sure how to meditate on your own.
Yeah, it's way less intimidating than just sitting there like, am I doing this right?
Exactly. Plus, they have all those extra features like personalized programs and trackers, even nature sounds and stuff.
It's like having a little mindfulness mentor right there in your pocket.
Totally. But before we even get to the apps, the article talks about creating a wind-down routine for the evening. What do your evenings usually look like?
Oh man, usually I just collapse on the couch and scroll through like social media until I fall asleep.
Yeah, I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Not exactly mindful, is it?
Well, maybe we could tweak that routine a little. The article suggests taking a warm bath, with some lavender oil and Epsom salts, maybe an hour before bed.
Ooh, that sounds way better than my usual routine.
Right. Lavender is great for calming down, and the Epsom salts can help relax those tense muscles we were talking about.
Okay, but what about my mind? It's usually still buzzing from the day, even if my body's relaxed.
That's where swapping screen time for reading comes in. The article suggests picking up something, inspiring or thought-provoking instead of scrolling through all that stuff online.
Right, because that blue light from our devices messes with our sleep, doesn't it?
Exactly. It interferes with melatonin production, which is the hormone that helps regulate our sleep cycle.
So we're actually helping ourselves sleep better by ditching the screens. Makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
And by reading something inspiring, we're giving our minds something positive to focus on instead of all that stressful stuff online.
I'm starting to see how this could work. A relaxing bath, a good book, no phone in sight. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a recipe for a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
And speaking of calming the mind, remember we talked about gratitude?
Right. Yeah, it wasn't just about feeling good. It actually had some real benefits, like lowering stress hormones
Right.
and boosting our immune system.
Exactly.
Hmm.
The article talked about keeping a gratitude journal. Have you ever tried that?
I have, but I could never slick with it.
It doesn't have to be a daily thing.
Mhm.
Even just taking a minute before bed to think about 3 things you're grateful for can make a difference.
3 things, I can do that. Maybe I could even make it a little ritual with my kids before they go to sleep.
That's a great idea.
Mm.
And when we share what we're grateful for, we're not just reinforcing those positive feelings in ourselves, we're also spreading that gratitude to others.
This has been such an awesome deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to deal with stress and just feel better overall.
And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mindfulness is a journey. Some days will be great, some days you'll completely forget about it.
Yeah, that's reassuring.
And that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing is to keep coming back to it, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
That's such a good point. It's not about reaching some perfect state of zen. It's about making those little choices every day that support our well-being.
Exactly. And, you're not alone in this. There are tons of resources out there like apps, books, even local meditation groups if you want that extra support.
Well, thank you so much for being our guide today. I know whoever's listening is walking away with so much to think about. Any last words of wisdom for them?
I would just say, trust the process. Mindfulness isn't a quick fix. It takes practice. But with time, it can really change how you relate to yourself, how you experience the world. So be patient, enjoy the journey.
I love that. Well, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to explore the world of mindfulness. Remember, you have everything you need within you. Start small, be kind to yourself, and most importantly, enjoy the ride.